Hi guys, how you doing? Right, if you own a Chrysler C300 3 litre diesel and you have an oil leak, 9 times out of 10 you will find, well, when I say an oil leak I mean an engine oil leak, 9 times out of 10 you will find that it's the oil cooler that sits right smack bang deep down in the middle of the V engine. This is so common, it's unreal. But there is another possibility. Excuse me for looking mucky. I've been, this is the hottest day of the year. Well, yesterday was the hottest day of the year so far, and I was out here most of the day trying to find nuts, bolts, hidden nuts, bolts, and digging in slowly because I've not done one of these before. Now, the problem we've got is they are not easy to get at, and the main dealers, they want about £3,500 to do this job. Let me come into the shade because I am absolutely roasting. There we go. So in a moment I'm going to turn the camera around and try and explain to you what we've got. Now, best part of 2 years ago I actually paid to have my turbocharger replaced, repaired, or whatever they did to it, because, you know, I didn't open it up to check, and fair play from then really the turbo's been fine. But I had a bit of an oil leak to start with and it's never gone away. So there's me thinking, right, it has to be the oil cooler. So I'm going to turn this camera around and I'm going to talk you through it. So, and this particularly goes out to anybody replacing a turbocharger or any garages that are replacing turbochargers, because if you miss one simple step it can cause the owner a lot of grief. So right, let's turn the camera around. Right then guys, here's a little crash course in motor vehicle mechanics. As you can see, there's a fair few bolts. This is in the boot of my Chrysler. There's a fair few nuts, bolts and components that have got to come off. It's not for the faint-hearted, and I'll be honest, I did not want to do this. This here is your turbocharger. The turbocharger connects to the engine, right? That is the oil feed and the oil return. Oil feed, oil return. Okay? And that actually bolts onto a pedestal. And there's the other side of it. As you can see, let's turn it round to match the holes. As you can see, that goes against, where are we? That goes against that. They bolt together and everybody's happy. With the correct gasket, it doesn't leak. Right, there's a problem. On the other end, right, so that bolts on there like that, okay? On the other end where it actually meets the engine, there is another gasket. Okay, now once the turbocharger's off, look, 1, 2, 3, sorry, 4 bolts. Let's go again. 1, 2, 3, 4 bolts. So easy to get at, and the pedestal will just lift out. So now I'm going to take you to the engine. So hopefully I'm explaining this so that you can understand. Now, in order to do this, as you can see, my inlet manifolds are off and in the middle of my garden, and this is where you have to go with it. Okay, fortunately I could leave that loom on, but other than that there's no other shortcuts I could have made. Right, now this, I've only cleaned the top of it. This is your oil cooler, and it's normally that leaks. Now I don't know how I'm going to get in here with this bright sunshine. Let's have a look. Okay, so what we have down here, we have, this is water where I pulled the manifolds off. Okay, so, but there's no floods of oil. All right, there's crud, there's water, it's all carbonated, yes, but it's not flooding with oil. Now, if I come to here, turn the camera, try and give you some sort of perspective. Let's see. Now this is the oil feed and return. Okay, and the bolt holes 1, 2, 3 and 4. So that second gasket goes on there. Now as you can see behind the turbo, that is oil. See it? That is oil. So that oil has been flowing out. There's a natural barrier in the engine here, look, that will stop it going from one end to the other. Obviously, as you're driving and you got your speed up and the turbulence around the engine, it does get everywhere. I mean, I've got to change the alternating belt and everything on this, but for the sake of my repairer, who I thought was absolutely wonderful at the time because he did me an excellent deal, he's just caused me a lot of problems. So this week I'll be travelling by motorcycle because I haven't got another car unless I want to use my camper, and I don't. So while it's off, the oil filter's coming out, and I'll put new seals in that. A complete seal replacement kit for this. I found one for £110 or thereabouts. You can pay £150, but shop around, and there's everything in there that you need. There's even stuff in there you don't think about until it's actually gutted. So there we are. Now luckily, and I say luckily, I'm a qualified mechanic by trade. Now I didn't want to get into this. This is a big job. I didn't want to get into this, but I've had no choice because I'm not paying £3,000, and then you're trusting that the mechanic on the other end. And trust me, I've worked for dealers, and they don't always do the best job. Okay, because they're paid on a bonus, and they have parts problems, and there is a certain amount of bodging and codging that goes on in every trade. So find somebody who is competent, and when they give you a price on it, it won't be £3,000. But if they turn around and say, I'll do that for £1,000, don't croak. Please don't croak, because this isn't a nice job. And you can have a go yourself, please do, but I wouldn't recommend it if you're not mechanically minded. Okay, so turbochargers, change both gaskets. Catch you later, guys.